Welcome everybody to MogTalk. If you guys are unfamiliar, MogTalk is a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community, discussing everything from Saturday to Chocobo Racing. Today is Saturday, February 25th. Welcome guys. It's just been a pretty exciting week or two. 3 or 4. Man, how long has Ultimate been out?
I don't want to know.
I think like is this the 5th week or hold on? I have 3 clears. It's like the 5th or 6th. Fuck, dude, I don't know, man. It's
a 6 week since point 3. I think we're on week 6 from like point 3, but I think it's the 4th week for Ultimate. Yeah,
it's just a blur of agony and misery.
Yeah,
it's a blur of Pantocrator is what it is.
Yeah. Well, guys, we can talk about Omega a little bit, but the focus of today's show is gear in Final Fantasy XIV. This was a show that got banked. I think last time you came on Xeno because you started to rant about gear, and we're like, hold off.
Yeah.
Hold off, dude.
No, I've been waiting for this show.
We'll get this for another show. So we decided to go ahead and get it going, and I know Happy has some thoughts on it too. But before we go into it, let me make sure you guys introduce yourself for the 3 people watching the show who don't know who you two are. Xeno, could you tell everybody who you are?
I'm a bald man that sometimes puts his beard on his head. I stream Final Fantasy XIV. I am kind of a React streamer. And that's it.
Okay, that works. Happy?
I'm Mr. Happy, and I play games, and they're largely Final Fantasy games and Square Enix games. Go buy Octopath too. That's my advice. And Theater Rhythm. Go buy both of them. Good. So
they're good.
That's my country. They are good. They're very good.
I have so much time for games now.
I saw the tweet. I want to talk to you later about that, man.
Yeah, we'll talk some later. And before we have one more person or one more people to introduce themselves. Twitch chat, can you introduce yourself to everybody watching this show? Just go ahead.
Only with whatever your favorite uwu emote is, though.
That'd be good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys could just go ahead and say who you are, what you're about.
Their name's Joel, you know that, right? They're all Joel.
That fish is never gonna go away, man. It is crazy how random crap just like is generated.
I was in game and I saw someone on the shark mount just spinning around in place, and I'm like, there he is.
I saw it on Echo's stream, actually.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Man, that is crazy. This tier, man, this show's not about Ultimate.
But it is, because Ultimate is inevitably one of the problems with gearing. Not directly, but it's how to get into it as a result of the problem with gearing.
I mean, it is a huge part of gearing when you think about it. It's like it's the end game.
It's the reason you do it. Yeah.
Why you gear up.
Okay. All right. So I'll start. Okay. Sure. They need to unlock the fucking raid tier. Whenever a new Ultimate comes out, I want to know who in the fuck thought it's a good idea to keep the raid tier lock. Like, what is the point? New content just came out. Like, you should be able to go in and farm for your gear if you need to switch jobs in an Ultimate. Because if they're going to come out with an Ultimate that this fucking hard and completely shit all over statics and make people disband and all that bullshit, you might have to change your role. Ooh, better luck next time. You can't, because there's a fucking loot lockout, okay? Because you're locked out, man, on content that no longer matters. See, here's another thing, man. I think people don't understand that the raid tier's lifespan is not as long as what they think. The raid tier is only alive until the catch-up patch, until like the 0.3. Once that patch comes out, boom, it's dead. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Because if there is an Ultimate, the Ultimate's going to come out. And why the fuck is the 24-man gear not Savage equivalent? That's some other stupid shit too. You can get a twine and an oil from the 24-man, but the gear itself is not Savage equivalent. Why? And don't fucking tell me it's about glamour, because if it's about glamour, why does it have stats on it? Like, what is the purpose of it being 10 item levels lower? You should be able to go in and get, I mean, you can only get one piece a week, right? So what is the point of getting a shitty piece of gear once a week? Like, why? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. You should be able to go in. Okay, if it was Savage equivalent, you would appeal to you would appeal to everybody. Okay, I was gonna say two, but then I was like, nah, fuck it. You would appeal to everybody, and the reason why is because you would appeal to the BIS people. Maybe they want like horizontal progression, right? So maybe your debt tenacity fucking tank ring is, or your tank boots or whatever is shit, but the one in the 24 man is crit debt. Oh, that's poggers. I can go in there and get it. That's great, you know? And the people that need to clear the raid tier to even attempt the ultimate, they really need the fucking gear. So why is it 620? I don't understand. Or why is it 10 item levels lower? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's it. I mean, I know you said you got a raid in 2 hours, so that's it. That's it. We're done. That's it. You can go raid now.
No, because Criterion.
We gotta talk about Criterion. Yep, there it is. There you go.
Criterion should not only drop Savage. How the fuck are they gonna come out with Criterion Dungeon? It's amazing, right? It was so fun. It was so cool content. Like, there's never really been content like that before in the game. It's awesome. But the rewards are a materia, bro. A fucking materia.
Hey, I got a banner for my house. I'm very pleased with the banner.
It's not even on the outside. It's not.
That's okay. I can't get a fucking house anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, they give you a fucking house reward when not everybody can get a house. What are they thinking, man? Like, that's the best reward from the Criterion Dungeon is a fucking house item, and you can't even get a house. Okay. I don't even know if I'm going to get a FanFest ticket because they love the house system so much. They applied it to real life. Fuck it. Who cares, you know? But they okay.
We have so many topics right now to unload.
Yeah,
from
I know. We just went over all of them. Yeah, we just did all of them.
Here's what Criterion should have dropped. It should drop a piece of gear that you can get once a week. Savage equivalent, or just if they want to be fucking lazy, just drop the Savage gear or whatever. Oh, you know what? Here's another thing too. Whenever you open up a coffer, it's cool. I'll cover for us. Whenever you open up a coffer, right? It should not only drop a raid piece, but also the tome upgraded piece.
Yeah.
Okay. So you should be able to pick. And why the fuck is the cap $450 a week? Now, I told you this was a mistake inviting me to this show, man. This was a fucking mistake, bro. I told you don't open Pandora's box. I've been keeping all this shit in for fucking years, okay? All right? I told you in the DM. You know?
You told me. You told me. I done fucked.
Well, I feel bad because I'm the only one talking, so I'm just going to shut up for a second. But those are my first initial thoughts.
Happy is now your turn to respond and comment.
What was the question? I don't think there was one.
The question, literally what I was going to say, the first question was like, how are you guys feeling after Omega's done? And now you're done with it.
If you want, I'll answer the question.
Sure.
What do you want? Frosty, what do you want? You know what? This is MogTalk. I'm going to ask, what do you want, Frosty?
What do you mean, what do I want? What do I want in regards to...
What do you want to do? What's the next step of the show, Frosty?
The next step of the show, basically, Xeno gave a very great summary of a lot of his feelings, and I feel like we have to dig into a handful of those a little bit more, into the whys and to it all makes sense.
I would like to talk about some of those things.
Those things I would like to talk about. The first one I was going to talk about is kind of why we are having this, which I think Xeno just went ahead and went over. Like, those feelings, those emotions, and everything else is why we're having this discussion. But then we get into kind of just a general gearing system and different ways to get gear. I mean, overall, you guys would consider Final Fantasy XIV to be just this vertical progression, right? That just kind of goes up.
It's all vertical,
right?
man. There's no horizontal.
Right.
That's horrible.
Is that supposed to be something that we want to do? Is that something that we want to go forward with doing some horizontal progression at some point, or do we want to?
I love horizontal progression. I think horizontal progression is great.
Okay.
I'm of a different opinion, but I do think there's room for both, and that the lack of both inhibits a lot of reward systems that we don't have. Essentially, vertical progression. Vertical progression is one tree with no branches that just goes like this. Horizontal is like this with a bunch. It's like a forest with a bunch of tiny trees, and you have to climb every single one of them simultaneously.
I like this analogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of do you want gear collection or do you want power? Essentially, becomes the difference between the two.
I think you can have both, but you
can
definitely have too much. Yeah, you can have too much. Like, so if you look at Guild Wars 2, I think it has way too much horizontal progression, not enough vertical.
Guild Wars 2, I wouldn't call it progression. I wouldn't even call it that.
I mean, it's like well, all right. Now I have I guess I just should have mentioned this. Now, I haven't played Guild Wars 2 in years, but back when I played Guild Wars 2, it was around it was before like the Heart of Thorns expansion. So it had like fractals in it. It had all the different dungeons. The dungeons were pretty cool. You know, I actually like the game. You know, I don't love the game, but I like the game. But all the gear in it's, you know, horizontal progression, man.
Dude, it's agony resist. That's all it's like, oh, do you have enough agony resist? No. Well, you're fucking dead. See ya.
Yeah, you can't even do it. Yeah, so I mean that's like a good example of what like not to do, or what I wouldn't want in the game. But like some of some of the things I suggested, right? Like the 24-man dropping this just dropping like raid equivalent gear that would help so many more people. The Criterion dungeon, it would give you a reason to do it every week. You know what I mean? It would give you like another weekly. I mean, the dungeon's fun. I mean, I thought the dungeon was awesome. I can't wait for the next one, but I mean, like,
I can't wait for the rant video about the reward NPC.
But they're probably still not gonna fix it. But yeah, like I think that this game needs more horizontal progression. It would definitely help more. It would definitely help more people. Because it would not only help the people that actually need it, but it would also like give something with BIS, or the people with BIS, something to do, because you could go back and like you could, you know, grind away the 20. I mean, that sounds miserable now, but you know, like it would give you something to do basically. So if you really want that, you don't have to have it, but if you really want it, you can go get it, you know? So like, I think that those things like horizontal progression, I think those like adding those things to the game, they definitely need to, and it doesn't hurt anybody either. That's the thing. It doesn't hurt anybody. And also unlocking the raid tier, it doesn't hurt anybody. Like, dude, they're like these people that are like, no, the 24-man shouldn't be Savage gear because those people don't deserve it. What the fuck are you talking about, man? The fucking raid tier's been out for like over 3.5 months at this point. Who the fuck cares, bro? Like, who cares? No, there's people like that. There's people legitimately like that. They're like, no, they don't deserve the gear. And you deserve the gear? Are you kidding me? I don't think you deserve the brain for the way that you're thinking. You're misusing your brain.
There's people playing this video game. They're not good enough at the video game to deserve gear.
I mean, no, that's seriously like, I have had arguments. I've banned people in my stream for saying those dumbass things. I don't know if they were like memeing or not, but I mean, they're fucking gone because they're stupid. And I don't know why you would have that mentality.
So
happy you got. Just go in there.
Okay,
in there.
So I want to cut to the major crux of the issue, because Final Fantasy XIV, I don't actually think is a difference between vertical and horizontal, because I'm an X11 player. I know horizontal progression, as many old school MMOers might know, and essentially it became, you were collecting gear sets for individual actions. So like if you wanted to cast poison, needed a whole gear set for that. Wanted to cast blind, needed a whole gear set for that. Wanted to cast fire, needed a whole gear set for that. Wanted to heal, needed a whole gear set for that. Wanted to use a weapon skill, needed a whole gear. So you collect like 15 gear sets per job, and it's quite the thing. I don't think anyone wants that for Final Fantasy XIV. But the crux of the issue is not that it's horizontal or vertical. It's that Final Fantasy XIV is a game with 19 jobs on a single character, and it feels like they still only want you to play one.
Yeah.
The gearing is designed to only play one of them at a time.
And
yeah,
which is really fucking bad.
It feels at this point outdated. It made sense when there was only 10 jobs in the game, right? It was somewhat feasible for you to just do weeklies still and maybe work on get 3-4 jobs up. There wasn't as much separation between everything. But it's something that we can let go of now, because we kind of need to at this point in order for people to have a more fluid experience and to feel like there's a reason to keep playing on the regular, which a lot of people don't because they just want to get the bare minimum done because doing any more than that is asking too much given how many weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks it's going to take between tomes and weeklies and whatever upgrade materials you need because your only options are limited.
Well, I mean, it doesn't that really mostly affect like the weapons because a lot of gear is shared between jobs, but not all of it because I mean there's best in slot for different ones, but it's mostly like go ahead.
Well, it's like, okay, so if you look at the melee, right? Like, let's say your favorite, okay, so like I really enjoy Ninja and I really enjoy Reaper. Gearing those two is absolutely atrocious. It is abysmal. It's literally it's two different like gear sets completely, like everything, and that's not even my main job, right? My main job's tank. So like if they made the gear easier to get for your one character that's supposed to be able to play, see, that's like a fucking debate, man. You're like, yeah, the one character can play all these. I mean, it can kind of play all the different roles. You can equip the jobstone, but you can't do all the content without the fucking gear. So like, I think that if they made gearing easier, because it needs to be, it would incentivize people to actually play more jobs. Because, dude, after you clear the raid tier and you got your weapon, who the fuck wants to play an undergeared job, man? You're just going to go in there and you're just going to grief. Like, who the fuck wants to do that shit, man? That's not fun, man. I'm not saying you get bis like in 1 week. I'm not saying that at all. But, like, I'm saying that, a month, I don't think a month is too soon to be fully geared on a fucking character. And keep in mind, I'm coming from the mentality of doing split clears. So for those of you that don't know what split clears is the whole raid group has 2 different characters, and you take 4 of your mains and 4 of your alts in, and all of the alts just feed the gear to the 4 mains, and then you do the opposite, right? So the 4 people on the mains, now they're on their alts, and so basically you double your loot. And even doing this, sometimes you don't get bis until like week 6 or 7, or even 8, depending on how many tome pieces you need. You might be absolutely fucked on tomes. You might have like a full left side of tomes. Ooh, you hate to see that. That full left side, that nice chest piece, that meaty 850 or however the fuck much it costs, and then another 850 on the pants. Holy Jesus, man. That's a lot of tomes, brother. That's a lot. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I think that they need to make like, dude, man, dude.
So
yeah, we know.
Horizontal prog is kind of the solution here that you're thinking, at least some level of it. Not like
I think we need to get away from the term horizontal because people who again played old school MMOs, you don't want horizontal.
Are we talking about tiered horizontal?
You want options. That's what you want. And with vertical prog games, they are options. Because there's essentially all of the item level is calculated out. Like item level is equal in strength, but different in stats. So essentially, if you just raise the item level, the formula they use to determine the stats underneath, it's all equal power. You still want specific pieces for, skill speed, spell speed. Speaking of which, please combine those next expansion. Moving on. Just call it haste.
Just call it haste. Yeah. Just call it haste, man.
All done. But yeah, the fact that it's still the options are limited is what makes it just a choice. Like, I'll give you an example that's not even ultimate related. Week like 2 or 3 of Savage being out, I have someone who's like, "Oh, do you want to heal?" And I'm like, "Sure, I could just grab the crafted gear, whatever." It's not like you need more to do like 5, 6, and 7. Every PF 615 minimum. 620 minimum. The fucking DPS who got geared in like 1-2 weeks, they're just like, yeah, I'll just set it to 615. Man, I don't know why these healers and tanks who didn't get any loot for the first 2 fucking weeks aren't joining. No idea. And then you just can't. And it's because I have no other options at that point. Now, that's really early in the tier, but the problem is, if let's say I get the healer and then I want to play summoner, I'm in the same boat again. And now they've raised it even higher because it's been even more weeks. And people just keep doing that shit because people think, oh, I got to have these ultra geared everybody. And then we're still going to hidden rage because we're doing tank damage down shit like they do everything.
Okay, so are we saying like add options by just the extra content, like besides tomestones, besides, Savage gear, get up to 650, there should be one other like to the side way to get gear that would match that same level when a Savage comes out, or no?
I mean, I just think they need to just add more options as like the patches come out, man. Like the Criterion Dungeon should have dropped Savage equivalent. That way you could have been getting an extra piece of Savage gear and a twine every single week. So that like over time, like, dude, I can't even remember when Criterion came out. How many weeks before
it was actually about 5 months ago, almost practically. It's just under 5 months.
Yeah. So even if they so let's just think about it for a second. Let's pretend that Savage or that the Criteria, not even Savage, just like not even like the ultimate criteria or whatever, just like the non-variant, the one that's actually kind of difficult. That one dropped. Either it gave you like a token that you could turn in for a twine or an oil. Okay, that's awesome because twine and dude, they need to add more twines and oils to the fucking. You know what? That's another thing.
You're trying to just get out of split raids at the end of the day because split raids fucking suck.
So not only that, but this content doesn't come out when Savage is out, right? Like the Criterion isn't out when the Savage first drops.
So you're not going to gear later.
Up. Yeah. So you're never going to gear up too fast. So basically, all of this extra stuff that they add in, enough time has already passed that you should be BIS on at least one job, assuming you cleared the raid tier in a reasonable amount of time. Or you should be close to, so that when Criterion comes out, you'll get an extra twine or an oil, you'll get an extra drop. So right there is an extra resource and an extra piece of gear that you could use it on your main, you could use it on your alt, whatever. Then they come out with the 24-man. That again drops Savage equivalent gear. And then they also unlock the raid tier. So basically my point is that by time that ultimate comes out, by time that 24-man comes out, it should just be fucking raining gear. It should just be raining gear from the heavens. You're just covered in gear. That is the point because at that point in time, the gear is it doesn't who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if you have every god disc? Who cares? Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's already been 5 or 6 months since the raid tier came out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you need that stuff for ultimate. You need that shit for ultimate. So they're it's not going to hurt anything if they make it like that. And I don't understand why they shouldn't.
The way when Savage comes out, you guys are happy with the gear system on the day it's released.
I mean, there's no point in even worrying about the gear system week 1 because
it doesn't matter. It's all crafted gear, right? And then you just get whatever you can, unless you do splits. But
maybe you do week 1 splits to help with the last fight, which I think after what happened with Abyssos, even though they went ahead and rectified later, I think most racing groups are probably going to split week 1 no matter what coming in the next year. Heck, non-racing groups, just people doing it day 1 are probably there's going to be a lot more people.
My group did it. We did splits week 1. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But groups that didn't, I think in point 4 are now okay, let's make sure we do splits. We're not taking that chance again. But but it's not even, for me, it's not even about ultimate. It's the sheer fact that if a player does not start day 1, they're kind of discouraged by the community themselves, by the behavior of the community themselves. And it's not like they're telling them they suck or they're too late or anything. But they're doing things like setting minimum item levels higher and there's no more learning parties. And then people only want to do Criterion with people who are already geared. So then they have to, if you don't have a friend group that's hard committed to doing things after the fact, or you're part of a community that can, it becomes an absolute disaster for those people. If Criterion had gear unlocks, a new player comes in, maybe they don't want to do Savage. Maybe playing with 7 other people's not really up for them. But Criterion offers a lot of skill set practice, a lot of really good encounters. It has, more challenging trash, which is something we don't even have trash in raids anymore. And Criterion Savage is honestly the best ultimate practice room in terms of working on consistency as a player. But your only reason to do it is to do it. And that's not good enough for a lot of people. That doesn't drive people enough into the content.
Did they say they were going to they heard everybody's complaints about loop? Because this has been since it came out, right? It's not like it's new information. So have they responded to that? I actually don't remember.
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I can't
We're reading feedback is the most we've gotten. So
Okay.
we have no idea we have no idea how it's going to manifest because we have 2 criterions left for this expansion if they keep
Which
the
is
schedule.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean,
to
but
me.
the thing is it's good content. It's really fun to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's no reason to do it.
I want it to last longer. I want it to last at least 44 hours or as long as it's regularly set.
Criterion Savage was it was actually getting a little sidebarred, but it was really interesting having a Savage that was like the trash was amped up, but other than that they gave 10% more boss health and then just made it so that you couldn't fuck up. Like it was just to do it right or don't do it at all, and it honestly becomes closer to Ultimate because of that.
I do think that it is kind of weird, like saying which one is the more important clear, the Criterion or Criterion
the base
Savage.
one.
Yeah, the base one seems like the core of the clear, and then Savage is just like I'm proving something, right? That's all it feels like. It's like I'm just trying to prove I could do everything I've already done without messing up.
One thing I thought was super weird about Criterion is that they make you use your own gear, right? So you have to have gear for it, but then it doesn't drop any gear. Like that's so weird to me. That doesn't make any sense. Like I think if Criterion would have been level synced, like the Unreal, then you could say, okay, doesn't drop gear, just drop other bullshit, okay, I got you. It's level synced, it's whatever. But it uses gear. So like your example was really fucking good. Like there's some people that just might not want to fuck with Savage. They just might not might not have 7 other people and they don't want to do the party finder, but they got 2 of their friends or 3 of their friends or whatever, and then they jump in there. Well, you should be able to get some gear out of it. I mean, it uses the gear, so it doesn't make any sense. If it was level synced, then you would have an argument, but it just doesn't make sense to me why that it uses the gear but doesn't drop any.
It just should. I think they just don't have the resources to design that much gear. But they should just recolor stuff.
Make it Savage. They just literally make the Savage drop. Make it drop.
That would work for me too. I think a lot of people would be fine with that. But
I don't think it's about the resources specifically for the gear. I do think that at its core they didn't want it to drop gear because you can shift resources around, and also you can reuse assets. There's a lot of gear sets that they eventually put in something else, and it's got like a dyeable version or something. And I think they could have probably managed going with something like that, a reused asset that has some sort of like slight effect. Now that's not underplaying. I know that's still a lot of work when it comes to everything, but
maybe if they put less emphasis on dungeon gear and to move that over to Criterion, that would be interesting. I don't know. It feels like they always put so much work into all the dungeon gear, and it's pointless, except for people who
I don't
want
know
it for
who uses that gear, man. I really
glamour.
don't know who uses that gear.
That's all it is.
It's glam.
Yeah.
It's just glam. I know people get really excited about that.
In most cases, not even. Well, I don't know. I guess that's biased, but in most cases, it's not even good glam.
It depends.
I have never farmed a dungeon for the. Okay, I have one.
I was gonna say you do it for Ultimate though. Yeah, you do it for Ultimate.
It was a leveling dungeon. Oh, here's another thing. Okay, no. I got a problem with dungeon gear too. I want somebody to answer me this. Why is it that in a leveling dungeon they give you a piece of gear at the end? Here you go. Oh, little sprout. There you go. But in a normal dungeon, they don't.
Because they want you to do it over and over again for the glam.
It's farming glam, man.
I like that you disappear out of existence when I give you that answer. I think it really encapsulates the emotion.
It's just, man, it's like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just disappointed that that's probably their line of thinking.
Yeah, it is. And I just real side note, I was kind of worried that my green screen was kind of shitty or was not working too well. Then Xeno's here, he's helping me out, making me not feel so bad about it.
When it looks like that, it's better because then you can have moments magician. Like that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, mine just freaks out.
There you go.
Oh, but yeah, no, the dungeon stuff. I mean, do you think at least the item level is appropriate for the dungeon stuff? Because that stuff's brainless. It's like nothing.
I mean, I think it's cool when they come out with the dungeon after the. It's like
2 patches later.
Yeah. 2 patches. Yeah, so you already know what I'm gonna say. I think it's cool when they come out with dungeon gear that actually works in the ultimate. I think that's cool. It gives you something to do. You don't really need it, but it's kind of cool if you get it.
Yeah.
Omega Protocol people might disagree with that. They're gonna be like,
you're gonna need it for that shit.
I'm going in the 0.5 dungeon day one, farming a whole left side set. Nah, you can't stop me.
Yep, you're gonna need that shit. There's DPS checks in there, man. And there's one thing the community can't do, and that's a DPS check. And they're in there.
Not
me. It's a dark time,
I
man.
can't do it.
I have a tangential question. How many people, on average, do you think pot phase 1 in PF?
I mean, I pot every single time I pull.
Oh, so. I mean, I pot every pull.
No, but the PF.
How much? The party finder? I don't know.
Unless they see Enrage, they don't do it.
Yeah, I want to make sure you can get. Yeah,
I think that's the mentality. I'm not potting until we see Enrage or some shit like that. I think so.
I mean, it's a huge burn on pots, to be honest with you, because it's just so quick.
Some people don't meld. Some people don't use food. I'll tell you, don't you let Llama Todd catch you without any melds or food, because he's gonna get that ass, man. He's gonna school you. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught with no melds or food around Llama Todd.
Back in my day, every time we died, the food would wear off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Realm Reborn, they don't know. They don't know having to pop food every pull, bro.
Now, I think about, I've had a lot of shows recently where we haven't had just people who've been here since the Realm Reborn, but all of us have been here at least since the Realm Reborn, and we've seen all the bullshit and the evolution of all this stuff.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
CDs didn't reset then either.
Yep.
I remember
in A8. I'll never forget in A8. Me and I was tanking with my friend Chet Mix, and he played Dark Knight. I played Warrior, and his Living Dead. He would Living Dead one of the busters, and we would have the living pull and the non-living pull, and the non-living pull was the one we had to mitigate, and that one was not a good pull.
Yeah,
because we didn't want to wait like 4 minutes or 5 or whatever the fuck.
What about Hallowed on first tank buster and die to the AoE after 7 minutes? But actually, it's funny because going back, I've been doing a lot of looking back on a Realm Reborn, seeing like when we got certain quality of life, and I read something insane that I had to double check because I didn't remember reading it correctly. In the patch 2.35 notes, I think it was, there was a specific thing that said that the Striking Tree Extreme will now drop a weapon every time, which implies that it didn't. And I don't remember that.
Oh, I don't remember that either.
What? I don't remember that. So speaking of things that have improved gear-wise, coming from back then, we have it better now, but it still just can't keep up with how the game has changed since then.
The thing I remember about Striking Tree was the nugget tanking, man. Like the Titan Nugget.
Yeah. Although they patched that in the first fucking day, man. They saw Titan Edgy. They're like, nope. Not today, and they patch that shit super fast. Yeah. Primals, man, I really wish they would go back to dropping accessories, because I thought that was cool that the Primal would drop like potentially like a BIS accessory, because I remember doing Rama for a really good strength accessory, because this was back when fucking tanks wore strength gear. But I remember farming that. And I thought that was really cool, man, because like now when the new Primal comes out, it's always just like a weapon.
I have something else to add to that. We've had side quests that give accessories and stuff too. I remember in Heaven's Ward, we had the Goblin accessory that you could get that was the max item level. So it could be a exchangeably BIS, or you got it from the 24-man from I forgot the item. It was like a plating off Ultima Weapon or something like that.
I remember that. Yo, that was sick. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
so we have had these things before. The big thing.
They just dumped the Ultima from FanFest right in the middle of the 24-man. Like when they announced it, we thought we thought it was going to be this whole instance, right? And then everybody was like, "Wait, what the?"
Yeah, dude, I remember you trying to do 24-man Warrior, and the disappointment on your face when people were dying to stuff was palpable. It was palpable.
I was like, man, this is going down south, man.
There was like 12 warriors dead on like the first 2 mechanics. And I'm like, oh
yeah. Like, there's no way we're doing this shit.
No, not a chance. Because
No
I was
way.
I was recording it with my camera, and I was like going to each screen. I'm like, well, that guy's dead. Never mind. Oh,
Yeah.
that guy's dead. Never mind.
What is that? 2016? Is that right?
Yeah.
That was the first fan fest
Mhm.
I went to. I think it was 16.
It was the Stormblood one,
That
yeah, in
makes sense.
2016.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Old.
Yeah. But the point is, to be on topic, that they've shown a propensity to do things like that when we had less jobs in the game, when it was far less pertinent to have these side options. And yet nowadays we don't see those things when they would be much more beneficial to the community as a whole. I mean, going to primals, what if Rubicante had an accessory? What if all the odd numbered patches just had accessories for the primals as well? And I think that becomes an issue of how much gear they can design, because people do collect accessories for Claim. People do, put on the rings and everything. That is important to people. So they can't just be like filler bullshit. But it's still, I mean, there are plenty of solutions that are not change the gear system as a whole. They just don't seem to want to incorporate them, and it's a bit strange at this point.
Not every single piece of gear has to be a banger. You can change every gear.
Oh no, they know that. I swear they fucking make the body pieces and the leg pieces, like they make the body pieces really good for everyone on purpose, so you have to do the last fight in the tier. They make the leg pieces shit for everyone but one, so you have to spend the tomes on them, and then you just hate everything.
Oh, and I don't know. Yeah, the glamour is amazing in this game. I know it's end game for a lot of people, but I'd like the ability to have more gear overall without having to have a whole team designing and trying to be very intricate or whatever. I can't talk properly, but being very detailed to make it look cool and try and take into consideration what already exists. I'd rather it just be, let's just recycle a few things, get some good stats out there, make a good system for it, and then throw in cool stuff every once in a while.
It would definitely be better if they just recycled some shit and just made more options. And we
had a lot of options with Eureka, didn't we, or whatever? Diadem.
Oh god, no, we don't talk about the fucking pink weapons from Diadem. That doesn't count.
That was a mistake.
Not to mention, dude, you know how hard it was, bro. One of the 3 bosses had twisters. No one was ever gonna clear that shit. It was impossible. It's like twisters. 6 people died. No, that's it.
Well,
glad I'm in here.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but there are other problems with the gearing system that I think tackling could somewhat improve. I think one of the biggest issues we have with gearing right now is having multiple jobs within a role that can't share materia. Now, I think the best solution is to make it so that materia is per job in some capacity versus trying to change the job so that there's no bad materia option. But that's another thing that we can't do. I mean, if you want to play spell speed summoner and black mage, but then your team tells you to go red mage, you're like, all right, got to unmeld that. Tier's over, got to unmeld, remeld that. And it doesn't sound like it takes long, but it's still annoying to do. Not to mention, you might end up needing both the tome and the savage piece at the same time in order to actually omni roll. And that's no good.
Yeah. Okay. I think, all right. Like, what if instead they removed materia from all the gear, right? They just removed the materia from all the gear, and instead they just gave you like a fucking, I don't know, like a enchantment or something. Okay, like like an enchantment, and you put all of the materia in that one enchantment. That way you could have loadouts. So you have so basically like your chest piece wouldn't have 2 melds, right? The 2 melds in your chest piece would be in the pendant or whatever the fuck it is, right?
You want the Zodiac book from A Realm Reborn, but as an equipable thing, because that's what you're describing. It's remember how we made the weapons, how we would like apply materia to that fucking book?
Yeah.
Except without the failure.
So basically you would have it wouldn't even necessarily be like a piece of gear, or like it wouldn't be like an upgradable piece of gear either. Because because then we're getting into territory that's like, oh man, did your pendant drop? No, it didn't fucking drop. It did. Just have it have no base stats on it whatsoever. It's literally just on your character. So basically you could think of it like this. You're not melding your gear, you're melding your character. And because you're melding your character, you can have different loadouts. So like if you have
meld it to the job stone. Each job stone.
That would even be lore appropriate. Just meld that fucker up, like. But I think that if you have different like loadouts, right? You could essentially have like a tank loadout and then spell speed loadout, like loadout 1 tank, loadout 2 spell speed, whatever, and just so on and so on. I don't know, give you like, I don't know, like 10 or something. I don't know. I don't know what's a good number.
I think it's then fair that crafted gear still has meld slots, but it can only be like 9s, for example. So like just what you would have overmelded, the difference between the raid gear and the crafted gear.
So that way, that way it would still give value to crafted gear.
Yeah.
But only the overmelds. Yeah, no, I mean, I think like it's either that or you have like different like basically I don't think that they fully understand the different, like how tedious it is to unmeld and like remeld different fucking skill speed tiers or something, because like, and I just don't think that they do that. I think that they just put on the gear and they're like, fuck it, we're testing this shit in God mode anyway. It doesn't matter. They clearly did that with top. There's a couple fucking auto attacks in there.
So funny backstory, they have not released a tier without clearing it without God mode because they did that with Manipulator. They admitted that they had never cleared Manipulator without God mode in their testing, and they said they would never do that again because that's how Manipulator ended up the way that it did.
Woo.
Yep. That was not good times.
Imagine if Manipulator came out today. Oh.
Nissy, man.
No, it's you cheesed it, man.
Yeah.
You cheesed it.
You had to eventually. Yeah, everyone cheesed Nissy.
Oh yeah. Why the fuck would you ever do that shit when you could
after what happened with Abyssos? I don't question the dev team anymore. I definitely don't question the dev team anymore after that.
Oh man, yeah, no. I don't know, man. I don't know. They have to say something on it eventually, or maybe they don't. Maybe they'll just keep going for it. I don't.
I mean, it's the thing is like, okay, like I love Final Fantasy, all that shit. Okay, I love Final Fantasy more than most people. All right, but the thing is that they have some shit in the game, right? That is just so old, man. It is so old. Like the gearing system. I mean, dude, we don't even have a good friends list. Like, bro, we don't even have a good friends list, man. Have you ever opened your friends list? It's like dial-up. Okay? It fucking loads for like 3 minutes. Yeah. It's horrible.
Every single time.
It's yeah, so like the gearing is like so old and just outdated, and basically there's so many jobs now, and they just need to make it more like, man, there's just too many people are like, oh, well, you'll get bis too fast. No, you won't. Shut the fuck up. No, you won't. You're not going to get bis too fast. Shut up. All of the changes that we've suggested here today happen after the raid tier comes out. All the changes are like way after the fact, like literally months after the fact. So you can't possibly get geared up too fast. But I will say that this is really dumb. So the other day I tried to buy a helmet, or it was like a helmet or gloves or something from whatever the first raid tier is. No,
that's Fidelos. Okay.
Yeah, Asphodelos. And it still costs 6, but the Abyssos costs 4. Dude, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, you can get infinite books now, right? It doesn't really matter.
Well, but that's not about that. It's not about that, man.
Speaking of which, didn't they, when Ultimate... Wait, hold on. I'm going to check this before I say something stupid, because it has to do with the raid tier. But either way, yeah, no, it is weird how things, they don't retroactively change a lot of that stuff. I get that a lot of the times. So I think that was something that goes over a lot of people's head, is that when you code something a certain way, when you want to fix it, it is awful. It is not a simple change of value, even for something like just changing a 6 to a 4.
Yeah.
But they they also just deem it not worth doing and don't do it.
Well, the thing is the older something is, it's hard to find out how many systems are stacked on top of that will break as soon as you change like how that functions. And so I don't know how that really goes into game development. I don't know how modular some of this stuff is. But yeah, when you change old code, it could break like 50 things. And Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of old code in it. So
Well, I think the book, like, I think the requirements should also be cheaper. Like, there's no fucking reason why an accessory should cost 4 books. Like, that's ridiculous, man. It should cost 2. It should cost 2. There's no reason you should have to wait a month for an accessory, because I know people that get horrible luck in the Party Finder. I am one of them. And, well, sometimes I'm one of them. But yo, it would take you like what? 4 or no. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 months to get a fucking chess piece and a weapon. Like 4 months to get 2 pieces of gear.
I'll pose you something worse. Take getting to the 8-week mark and not being able to buy one, because if you buy it and then you get it. Like, what if I get it and then it's like, so you still technically go the whole 16 weeks without everything. You do the same with accessories as well. So that's
that's rough. I've had like. Yeah, so I've been in situations where I have 11 books, but I need like 4 accessories, right? But you can't buy one. You can't. You have to wait or whatever. You have to wait for the one to drop so that you can buy the other 3. So it's like, yes, you do have enough, but what if you buy the ring and then the ring drops and no one needs it? Well, you just wasted 4 books. So you have to wait. Like it should not cost that. It should not cost that many books, man. It shouldn't, dude. By the time that you can buy gear, you got a whole library full of books. You know, it shouldn't require a library like that. It should be a lot cheaper, I think. And also when you get I mentioned this earlier, but when you get the to help with the tome cap, which fucking I'm gonna talk about that later. But when you open up a coffer, right, it should give you the choice of a fully upgraded tome piece or the raid piece, because that would also mean that you wouldn't be capped on tomes as much. Because let's say you need a lot of tomes, right? You need like a fuckload of tomes, right? Like you're looking at like 3K tomes and shit, you know, like holy moly. You know, well, if you get a coffer, get the chess piece coffer. Well, the raid chess piece is fucking dog shit. So you want the tome. You know what I mean? So then you can just get the tome from the coffer. I think that they should add that too.
Mm-hmm.
That they might want to wait, because I think that design-wise in the first several weeks, they probably wouldn't want to do that, because they want you to go get tomes. Like that's in their interest to make you go get tomes in those first few weeks.
Okay.
But eventually, the idea is that's just that no matter what, eventually restricting it doesn't matter. Like there's no benefit other than, I guess, the potential sub of somebody needing to stay sub to do it every week.
Nah, man. Dude, once you got a house, you're sub to this game for life, man. Yeah. Whoever in this fucking chat has a house. Dude, man, yo, I got a house.
People are trying to get houses too, right? That keeps their sub, because they log in every day to look for new houses.
That's right. Yeah. I'm never gonna unsub. So if somebody's got their eye on my house,
good luck. Yeah.
It ain't happening, brother. There ain't no way. The only way you're getting my house is if I get fucking banned, okay? And I don't type in chat, and I'm an uwu react streamer now, so I ain't getting fucking banned now. So your chance of getting my house is 0.
Bro, I just go to my apartment and I just put a bunch of green screens down to take screenshots for thumbnails. That's literally all I do with housing.
That's fair. I didn't actually think about that. That's really smart. Oh man. No,
but they need to increase the tome cap. I think they need to increase the tome cap.
I disagree.
I think they need to. Yeah. No. I think they need to after, like, you know, basically all of the changes that I want to happen after like the raid tier has been out for like a month.
I disagree.
Or not a month, but like a couple months. Because okay. Why don't you want them to increase?
Because I don't want to farm 900 tomes a week. Make the pieces cheaper. Make the pieces cheaper.
But they're not going to do that.
Yeah, but that's the better solution. I don't want to fucking farm 900 tomes
you know what? You know what? If they did increase the tome cap, they could also double the amount of tomes you get like from the expert and from like the other shit. I mean, which is essentially just lowering the cap. So I mean, it's the same thing. And I don't care what they do. They can increase it or they can lower the fucking cost of it. I don't care. But one of those changes needs to happen. Because $450 a week, yo, you remember when it was $300?
$300.
Holy shit.
3 weeks to get your Zenith weapon. I remember.
300 tomes a week. And then they upped it to $450. And then they never touched it again. Never. They were like, nah, this is good for life. 450, fuck them. That's right. Fuck them. Tell them I said that.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you told us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love doing an expert, doing 3 hunt trains and being done. That's what I do every week. I don't want to do 6 hunt trains. I got other shit to play. I'm not trying to be on 14 for 5-6 hours doing fucking expert dungeons or hunts or everything. I'd rather they just drop the cost. I mean, you could drop the cost and double the cap, and I just don't have to cap. Fuck it, you could do both.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Completely.
Like it doesn't matter to me. The end goal is the same, whether if they increase it or they lower the cost. Whatever, I don't care. I just want you to be able to obtain more shit. That's it. Just have more shit.
They just add more avenues to get gear, and then that's just another way
do
to
it all. Again, the point is that you can do any or all of these things.
Yeah,
and it's better for everyone. There's nobody is hurt except for the people's pride who for some reason think it still matters when it doesn't.
Yeah,
like, man, I worked so hard to get that Savage body. I remember I went in PF for hours and hours and hours, and now it's unlocked and they can just buy it with tomes, and the upgrades come from 24-mans. 24-mans aren't even hard. They shouldn't be able to get the same item level as me. I earned it.
Yeah, those are the people. There are people that have that mentality, and those people's brains are not functioning properly. They're dumb.
Okay,
they should not talk.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So I guess, you know what, we've talked about obtaining gear a good bit, and we talked a little bit about stats in general, but should we get a little bit more crazy with stats and like add in more different stats out there, maybe make it more interesting, or just like fuck it, don't just leave stats the way they are?
Well, okay, let's separate those two things.
Sure.
Just do not leave stats the way they are.
Okay.
Because we have a major issue with stats at the moment. We have actually multiple major issues. For one, skill speed and spell speed being separate is toxic to paladins and dark knights. I'm so sorry to you all that you have a 2.5 GCD cast time and a 2.44, whatever the fuck. I think that's why don't you just run 2.5 now? Isn't that like standard anyway?
Like on paladin, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Dark knight's a little more flexible.
Yeah, that's true. But the bigger problem is crit and direct hit being so widely variant.
Holy
moly. I get that they got rid of accuracy and they're like, we need something else that's attractive, but it's too much. It's either just get rid of direct hit. In all honesty, you can leave crit practically the same, and it's still toxic and the most OP stat, but at the very least, the damage variance isn't as high. But then you still have tenacity existing, which is hilarious. And then piety's okay. I guess piety's the one that's like flexible, I suppose.
I mean, like the only reason you get more piety is so you can res more, right? Is that like the only reason
it's like fight dependent. It's like fight and also healer dependent.
Prog gear, like how much gear people have, how fast to fight. Like there's a whole bunch. But even then, like even if you were not comfortable on healer and you're just like, oh, I'm going to Savage for the first time, you might genuinely want like a full piety build just because you are genuinely clueless about like what to expect or what to do.
I mean, you just cast more GCDs, right?
There's valid reasons to potentially have piety in the game, even if a really good player looks at it and goes, well, not fucking touching that. But then tenacity, and then the skill speed, spell speed separation, and then we have so many stats that just kind of do the same thing because everyone wants damage at the end of the day. That I don't know if I trust anyone in this game with stats that are quote more interesting. I don't know if I trust anyone.
I actually think that piety should just be okay. So you remember a long time ago when accuracy was in the game. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so you remember when they just naturally put accuracy on all healer gear, right? So like they just had it like naturally, right? I think they should do that with piety. I think they should do that with tenacity. There's no reason why you should be absolutely fucked on a piece of healer gear with virtually no missing a secondary. The piety should just be extra. It should just be extra because back in the day, for those of you that don't know, when accuracy was around, healers missed like all the time. So for all of you that are like, oh my God, fucking all this shit, just complaining and shit, I want you to remember this. Imagine your attacks missing. Imagine like 20% of your attacks just miss. Oh, well, that's too bad. Oh, it's too bad. You missed again. Yeah, it's because you had to stack your accuracy. Well, back in the day, to kind of alleviate that a little bit, they put accuracy on healer gear in addition to everything else. And I think they should do that with piety, maybe even tenacity. I mean, it's just.
I mean, what are we left? Should stats all just go in a direction of doing more damage, or should there be?
Well, that's the direction that they're going in. Have you seen any weapon at all? Just look at any weapon at all. What are the stats on it? Any weapon.
I mean, every stat in the game is a damage stat at the moment. So it's like, it's not even just the weapon. Every piece of armor, everything on it except piety is basically a damage stat at this point.
I mean,
like, there's a lot of interesting stuff they could do.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of interesting stuff they could do, but adding direct hit in an already crit heavy game, like, dude, it is unbelievable. The crit RNG, man, it is fucking crazy. You can literally vary thousands of damage based on your crit RNG. It's absurd, man. It's absurd. Like, there's no reason the game should be this RNG heavy. Like, I get it. You want crit. People like seeing crits. You know, it's fun. I like it too, but not to this extreme. Like, there's no reason that direct hit should even exist in the game. It serves absolutely no purpose. No purpose. All it is a shitty crit. That's it. So when they added it, I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck is the purpose of this stat? I don't understand. Like, the variance should be there. It should be there, but it should be there in a limited amount. It shouldn't be like so crazy, you know? So I think they should I think they should have never added direct hit in. I thought it was so weird when they added that shit into Stormblood. I was like, they have no idea what they're doing.
It's a compounding issue because they also increased potencies at the same time, which if you add it in and the potencies are still kind of low, like 300, 400, 500 is still a good number, then it's not as bad. But then it's because it's a multiple. It's a multiplier. So when the base potencies are really high, then those stats end up mattering a whole lot more. So that's when you get situations where your Hyosho doing nothing is 50k and your Hyosho critting is 110k. It's like you did an extra skill, even, and that's a bit wild that it can go to that capacity. But if they add, quote, more interesting stats, the problem I've played so many RPGs, I've played MMOs, I've played single player games. Stats don't matter to 99% of players, even if they think they do, because they're just going to look up what everyone else tells them to do anyway. So,
like Raiders,
I don't know that I give a shit. I actually don't know that if I give a shit or not, because it's not like I'm suddenly going to be making decisions, like, you know, unless I'm the person trying to figure out what's best. I'm still just going to do what the fuck is the best, because why wouldn't I?
I think, well, so like, okay. One of the things that they could do, now this is like extreme copium and it's never going to happen, okay? All right, so I just want to say that, but I'm just suggesting something they could do. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so for any of you that have played any shitty Korean MMOs, okay, one cool thing about Terra, which was dead now, but it was a cool MMO, was that they had certain skills on like the body piece. So I'll give you an example. So like you get a body piece, and it would have like a certain role, and it would be like, let's say it was a body piece for like Dark Knight, and one of the stats would be your blood spillers deal 10% extra damage. Okay, now that's one of the skills. Another skill would be like your Shadowbringer hits like an extra target, or your Shadowbringer gives you X amount of mana. Okay, like back or whatever. So like if they put stuff like that in the game, it would make it more interesting. Now, will they? Absolutely not. Okay, because they had to make it to where bards can't wear tank accessories because too many bards were wearing tank accessories back in the day. So are they ever going to do that? No, but I'm saying that would be kind of cool is if you had like, let's say the tome chest piece was kind of worse stat wise, but it had a better ability on it, right? Like it buffed your, blood spiller 10% versus the raid, which was like, so then you would have choices. Basically, you would at least have to think a little bit. You know what I mean? But now you just look at the gear. Does it have crit? Nope. Okay, get in the other one. That's it. That's the end of the thought process. There's no thinking behind it. So like, would it be good if they added that in the game?
Let me level that out with what reality would be. Reality is nobody would want a drop. Nobody would spend tomes until people figured out which one was worth it.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, Like, I don't know how horrible that would be, because you could go through with crafted gear, and then you start building that stuff up, and then you could make choices. So you can say, well, do I want to clear faster?
People grief enough with gear now because they don't want to buy the shit because they just like, it's bad enough as it is now. I don't want people now being like week 3 in, be like, yeah, I got the coffer, but I don't really know because maybe I want the passive for this, or I want the trait for that, or
I mean, if you're a party finder, people are going to roll if they have it.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't care. They're just going to hit the roll button if they can hit the roll button. That's just the expectations of party finder. I've never been in a party finder where people didn't roll.
Okay, so like I think right now, like I think that like Final Fantasy, they typically will take the most like simplistic way or simplistic changes. A lot of the time, and I guess that's okay. That's okay. But when you do that for so long, you start to run into issues like these. You know, with like the tome cat being shitty, cost too many books to buy a piece of gear. Like they tend to not, when something works, they tend to overuse the living shit out of it. You know what I mean? And that's fine to a certain extent, but over time, over the years, you eventually have to update this shit. Like, how many jobs are in the game? You said like 19 or 20? Or yeah, okay, so 19 jobs.
20, yeah. No, kidding.
450 tomes. 19 jobs, 450 tomes. It takes you 8 weeks to get a weapon or a chess piece. 19 jobs in the game. In a game that is supposed to like reward you for playing multiple jobs. Like this shit just doesn't make sense, man. It just contradicts itself. It's just crazy. Well, because like,
I guess, yeah, no, 100%. Like there should be just more ways to get gear overall for just different jobs. It is goofy in that sense, but I want to go back to the stats conversation just a little bit more, because
I was going to go back to it anyway, so it's fine.
No, I would say, like, if it's always going to be, no matter what, they figure out the best stat and it doesn't matter, then why even have more than 1 or 2 different stats, right? Like, okay, spell speed, skill speed, make it haste 1, then you have 1 that buffs your overall damage, and you have 1 that buffs crit, and then you have those 3, and then I guess you could have piety in there too. What else do you really need?
I think there are means with which, even with our current gearing system, to open up options. I think the most interesting jobs are the ones that essentially let you choose between speed and crit. Like when Samurai was a choice between speed Samurai and crit Samurai, Black Mage between speed and crit Summoner. Like that's when people have, because even though there's one that's better, Final Fantasy 14. I'll be honest, we like to make mountains out of molehills. We say balance isn't good, but it's balance within such a small frame, and there's nothing else to discuss because the gear is so that like. There's not like, oh, this tier set made this job OP. It's literally like, what did they do that makes this job perform or underperform? And it's just super, super easy to determine. And I think that it comes back down to the 2-minute meta and how many jobs have to fit X amount or Y amount in X amount of time. And it forces your hand down one path, like most of the time. So you have like what, Black Mage cannot give a shit, Summoner cannot give a shit. I think Samurai gives a shit now. I don't think Samurai wants to. I don't know. You play Samurai a bit more. Do they ever do speed anymore?
I play Samurai a little bit. I always just win crit, but I'm not like I'm an amateur Samurai. So yeah.
Because like one of the things I know a lot of people complain about the Paladin update, but the fact that Paladin basically has 3 free GCDs and most people is considered standard and not like the hyper min-maxed opener reopener. At least that's some form of freedom. But most jobs just don't have. Monk has a decent amount of freedom as long as they land the right GCDs. So there's a lot of rigidity that means that there's no room to make gearing options because you have to perform within a certain window, and that is the outlier that makes your job perform well. You can't just perform well for 1 minute and 59 seconds and then shit the bed 2 minutes in for the next 15 seconds, or you're fucked. That's it. Bottom line.
It's like I think it's like what is like the trickle effect or whatever, like because they made everything 1 minute and 2 minute, that basically limits the job design, right? So you have to fit everything into the 2 minutes. Well, because you have to do that, well, now that throws out a lot of different builds. Like basically like every warrior is going to play the same. Every Dark Knight is going to play the same. Every samurai is going to play the same. You know what I mean? And that like goes across the board for like almost all jobs. I'm not a caster, so I don't do any of that caster stuff, but my point being here is that because they've designed the jobs the way that they have because they force the 2-minute meta now that basically that trickles down to the stats. So now the stats are all across the board, just crit direct hit or crit dead or whatever. And then that's it. So because of like another system, it's made the gearing system also bad. So it's like, I mean, I don't think anybody likes this 2-minute meta. This is atrocious. It is atrocious.
The funniest thing about it is the people it was supposed to help, the players that needed more guidance, more direction, don't give a shit. They still don't do their 2 minutes.
They still don't do the 2 minutes, man.
They just press it. They're just like, I think I'll press this here.
Yeah.
They still have to press the buttons. Yeah, right?
Yeah, they might press it eventually, but like they're just like, I'm gonna press it like this, and that's how I'm gonna do it. And I don't care what's I've never heard what's the word alignment? Alignment. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay.
Thought it was lore specific with the Allegan. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought, dude, you lost me first. I thought you were about to drop some lore, man. Holy moly.
And you're like, Zeno was like, oh, fuck, I can't say anything.
I mean, I know Endwalker lore, but that's it.
Okay.
No, I mean, that's it.
You know Final Fantasy lore? Tell me your favorite Scion. Good stuff.
Eligma. Yeah, there you go.
Eligma? What's Eligma?
God damn it.
So, okay, all right. So stats, we see this 2-minute meta actually being a part of the reason why they have to be stuck and trapped in it, and if they can't really get too interesting with it. I mean, do you guys even want a world, though, where we could do more interesting stuff and expand out in that, or is it not worth the developers trying to put time into trying to figure it out? I mean, like, in MMOs in general, do we enjoy systems that expand out the stats like that and make us have to figure some of this stuff out, even if there's always going to be just one true path? Like, giving us options to kind of play around and stuff.
I mean, me personally, one of my favorite MMOs was actually Rift because of its soul tree system. I thought the soul tree system.
I thought it was because of the PvP. You loved
phenomenal.
Rift, but
dude, PvP as a Chloromancer was a
yeah,
good
like
time.
Rift, man. It really sucks, man, that Rift like died because it was such a great game. But anyway, so this the different customizations and shit. And I mean, eventually there was only like 2 or 3 different builds, right? But just the fact that you had like all these different options and that a majority of them were viable actually, was awesome. But in this game doesn't seem to be like that. And I think that the reasoning behind that is because your one character is supposed to be able to play all the different jobs, but you can't really play all the different jobs. I mean, you kind of can, but you really can't. So it's like, Now, me personally, I think that it would be cool if they added all these new, like, gearing, like, abilities or whatever, all the shit we talked about. But for the general player base, I don't know. It depends on what direction the Final Fantasy wants to go. If they want to keep going the same direction, then no. But if they want to go back to, like, I don't know. I mean, even Stormblood, not even as far back as Heavensward, because they've already said they're not going to go back to Heavensward. But dude, you can't fucking believe anything they say because they say shit like Paladins will never block magic. Well, Paladins block magic. They said that top was easier than fucking DSR. What the fuck?
They didn't. Listen, I've gone back to that statement a lot of times. They didn't say it was easier.
Okay, they didn't say it was harder either.
I don't think it was harder.
Oh, it was. Oh, are you kidding me? No, it was way harder. Way fucking.
I don't know,
harder
dude.
than
I just dance. I just dance and the boss dies.
Way
I
fucking
got
harder,
easy life.
man. Holy shit. Nah,
Man.
top is so much harder than
I've
DSR,
spent like
man.
10 minutes. I spent like an hour in there, and P1 seems so easy. People just die for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, dude, P1's so easy and people just fuck it up. I don't understand either.
I hate P1. It's awful. P1 is miserable. It takes just amount of brain power to where you can't shut your brain off, but not enough brain power to be stimulating at all. So it creates this nice gray area of just complete despair and anguish and misery.
Well,
That's how I
fortunately,
view
I'm
P1.
colorblind, so that's why I see it so clearly.
What?
Yeah, P1 is miserable. I thought top was. I thought top was way harder, but that might be subjective or whatever. But I thought top was way harder. I fucking guarantee you though. I guarantee you that PF is going to see so many less clears unless they get technology.
You know,
And even with technology, they're going to see the same amount of clears as DSR. That's how hard I think it is, man. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll revisit that in like 4 months, like 3-4 months. You know, when people are crying, gonna cry. You know, oh, you just saw P5. Oh, your static disband, gonna cry. Is it hard? Yeah. P5 is when the fight starts. So if you've been progging the fight and you're in misery now and you haven't reached P5, you haven't even started the fight, bro.
Dino, do you know that I'm working? I have a goal to clear Omega.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch that shit.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I have no static, and I'm just gonna be doing Party Finder. And whenever people join in to help, it's not gonna be consistent at all in any way.
I'll tell you what. If all of a sudden, boop, you got a marker above your head, just go with it. Trust me. Just go with it. Don't question it. Just be like, oh wow, he's really good at marking. Just go with it. That's it. It will benefit you so much more later.
Okay.
But don't ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remain ignorant.
Zeno and I are never going to share opinions on top because I did it on fucking range, on Fizz ranged, where I'm just like, you guys look like you're having a hard time. That sucks, man.
No, I'm doing this healer. I mean, I've committed to it because I just love playing Sage. Sage is such a fucking good job, man. I don't know.
It's really good.
Like playing in Party Finder is like so great too. But then again, I overheal. That's, I don't know. I gotta fix it, but it's
dude, the number one rule in Party Finder is you're the only healer. There isn't another one. That's
how I play. Yeah, literally. I imagine that the other person isn't going to heal.
Hey,
so
man,
how do I do it?
you know what, man? If you spam GCDs when people are full health, no one should ever question you. Okay, no one should ever question overhealing in the Party Finder. Okay, if you spam heal GCDs and completely drain the fuck out of your mana, and then you're fucked for when damage actually happens, nobody should question you. Fuck them. Okay, fuck them.
Yeah, that's good.
It's great when both healers are completely because you both know how much you didn't trust the other person.
Well,
you both look and you're like, man, are we gonna fix that? And you go, no.
The only time I'm out of mana is when other people die. That's literally it. I just hit Lucid Dreams on cooldown, and it works out perfectly fine in the end. I never run into issues until people die, and I have to res them. Especially when the healer dies. Then I start to run into some trouble because I have to res him. Then I have to overheal for all the stuff. Yeah, it's...
The good news is, Frosty, when 5.5 comes around and there's an extra 5 item levels of gear and damage, it might actually be okay to do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot more.
I think that 5 item level will really help, actually. I think it'll help more so in this ultimate than the others.
Also, you know it's going to help a lot, although I guess it doesn't help if you don't do it. We're going to have new pots in 0.4 as well. So that will probably be tremendous, I'd imagine, for especially phase 1. Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
And I'm going pretty hardcore. Like, I'm actually going to put in like 160 hours into raiding probably next month. I'm going to push hard. I don't think it's going to... Anyways, totally different topic. But yeah, no, it's going to be pretty crazy next month because I have so much free time. I just have to find groups to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, other things. We've hit like most everything with gear in general, I think.
Oh, we hit everything in the first 6 minutes of Xeno talking.
Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah, we did.
We didn't talk about relics at all, really, did we?
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten the rest for this expansion, and the relic is going to be really big for top eventually. It depends on which step has customizable stats, which one's item level capped for.
I think it'll be it should be the very last one you'll be able to use, or maybe no, it's the one before the last you'll be able to use for top. I think it's like I think it's the step 1 before the last, because the last step will be the item level of the raid tier. But the step before that will be like 10 item levels lower, and that 10 item levels lower, I think, will be better.
That's bad. Really? Oh, yeah. No. Sorry, I thought you meant 10 item levels below top's item level.
No. They're like above. But actually, no, you know what? No, it won't. The best weapon will still be the top weapon. But assuming
the next expansion's relic.
Yeah. Assuming that, you know, obviously if you're trying to clear top, then you don't have the fucking weapon. So assuming that if you don't have the weapon, then I think the relic might be, depending on how many stats you can put on it, right? Because it doesn't remove the stats, it just removes the materia. So if you can like load the fuck out of the stats, right? Like max crit, max det, and then like some direct hit. Like I'm pretty sure that would be better. You know what I mean?
So like the first point of when top's going to be nerfed is 6.4. Like in a way, somehow of it being nerfed by gear or something else.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think saying that 5 item levels on a gear is nerfing
And new
it.
pots.
I think that's maybe a stretch. I mean, I could see arguments for both sides. I don't really agree or disagree. I'm kind of indifferent. If you want to call it that, that's fine. I don't really disagree with it. But if you don't want to call it that, I also don't think it's a nerf. So I'm kind of indifferent on it. But it will make the fight like a little easier. Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess if that translates into a nerf, then yeah, it is a nerf. But the extra
Okay.
pots, the extra 5 item levels will make it easier.
It's not going to be like skipping nail dive bombs
No,
in
no.
UCOB yet, but you know we got a few years before it's skip Pantocrator. Fucking Christ.
Yeah, no. But yeah, this is the first ultimate I'm gonna clear, so I don't fucking know how this is gonna turn
That's
out.
Yo,
a
man.
good luck
decision.
with that shit.
I didn't expect people to donate so much money to charity. Holy shit, that was like
Yeah, you goofed. Messed up.
Okay.
Was it to clear or was it to do
To
it?
clear. Well, I mean, to do it to clear is the same thing to me. It's clearing.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it's not, because doing it and clearing it's definitely not the same to a lot of other people.
Yeah. Okay, to do it and to sorry. Yes, I'm going to clear it legitimately with my own skills and abilities if I can. Right? It's not going to be like no. Legend, by the way.
You might have some
Legend,
anime. You might have some anime music playing in the back. You might not have brought the anime music, but the anime music's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Or Alphino's mom. Any of those.
What?
Alphino's mom.
I have no clue what the fuck you're talking about.
Chat knows. I can tell chat knows.
Oh, is this part of like this? Man, I missed something in content, didn't I?
Elegant Melons.
Oh,
It's anything that's
okay.
A and M.
Okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an innocent little baby, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, we hit most of. So relics. You guys think relics are fine the way they are right now? We don't want to change anything about how relics are in the game.
They serve their purpose. I think that we should go back to kind of the way. So a Realm Reborn, they became BIS before the next raid tier came out. And I think that was, again, I don't see a reason why you can't. I think a lot of it is they feel that the difficulty of the content for at least a certain degree of time needs to speak to what it rewards, which then with Criterion, again, don't understand. But it feels like they don't want something that competes with both Savage and Ultimate. So they don't want to do that. And in fact, I think that's because of Heaven's Ward. I remember with that with the Heaven's Ward weapon, they said their biggest mistake was trying to equate the grind to how long it took to beat Gordius, and they didn't want to do that ever.
Well,
until the end of the expansion.
It does, as long as you like make the content like some of the gear is best here, some of the gear is best here, some of the gear is best here. That's fine to me, I would think, but like they would have to think about that and plan that out, right?
Yeah, and if they're gonna do funky like gear passives and anything, I think it needs to be on kind of that side. Like the relic at the end of the expansion could just go nuts. Who gives a shit at that point?
Yeah,
like, you know,
it's the end of the expansion. It doesn't matter at that point.
I mean, it doesn't matter now because we're done with ultimates. So
I mean, yeah, even if they wanted to do like crazy gear effects, and then just because if it's going to be as late as it is relative to the content that you would theoretically be using it for, other than glam, then there's just no point in holding back. I suppose you can do absolutely crazy stuff. And honestly, with Criterion, if you wanted to do kind of like the Bojta thing where the Criterion gear is usable outside of Criterion, but inside Criterion, it's got some like funky effects that make things more fun or interesting. I mean, you can also do stuff like that. I felt like that was a big strength with Eureka and Bojta, even though it was really simplistic, is having this thing that now if I ever go back in there, I have it. And so like if I go to do BA, I have all this haste gear, you know, and I have the extra stats that I collected in that zone. I think that's when they do best, is when they actually make stuff that's parallel, that has its own rules, and then they just go ham for in that activity, because then players get that power fantasy and also collect something that's technically usable in the rest of the game.
Like I think, yeah, like back at like back in Heaven's Ward, like I remember actually using my relic to prog Gordius, which I thought was really cool. So like if you translate that to now, I think it was like week 3 or 4 when I got my relic. So let's say that you're doing the current raid tier, and like 2 weeks after the raid tier comes out, they come out with that 0.5 and they add a relic in there. Okay, well now you can actually do your relic. Like, so let's say you clear the raid tier week 1. Okay, so then you just do a re-clear week 2, but then week 3 you can start working on your relic, and then you can actually upgrade your relic. Now, while the upgrade isn't equivalent to Savage, it's in between because of the step that it's on. So you can like use it until you get your weapon, because if you play like a tank or healer, unless you get the drop, you're not getting a fucking weapon until like week 4 plus, right? You know what I mean?
I'm in Party Finder. I roll on it anyways.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, unless you get lucky, all right? So let's just say that the average tank, it takes like, I don't know, five weeks before they get a weapon, just like the average, okay? Well, if you get your relic on week 3, it would be cool to use that for like 2 or 3 weeks, even though you're going to replace it. But then after like on like the catch-up patch or whatever, they up that level again. So now it's equivalent to the Savage, but it's with like customizable stats or whatever. So it's actually a little bit better. Like it's a tiny bit better. So you actually use your relic twice throughout the raid tier. So I think that would be cool, because that's how it used to be like back in the day.
Yeah. Dude, every time I think of relic and raiding, I cleared A11. I accidentally had my relic, and the relic wasn't upgrading at the time. So it was 20 item levels below what we were supposed to be wearing when it cleared A11. Yeah, it wasn't great. That wasn't great. That's a bad memory. We cleared?
Yeah. Didn't your wait? Hold on. That was in Heaven's Ward, and
yeah, that was Mew's group.
You ran like double monk, I think.
Double monk machinist. I was coming into the group. Yo, you can play monk. I don't care. Then I get told a week later, do you mind going machinist? I just recruited 2 monks, and I'm like.
That's like those were you know what, that group was, those were the only monks that played the game, because monk back then was awful. It was awful.
Yeah, because Dark Knight had the intelligence reduction, and blunt resistance only worked on monks.
I loved monks.
And monk couldn't handle their threat.
Yeah, you played paladin though. No one liked you either.
Me and monks just got together. Monk. We were best friends.
You had a special bond.
Yeah. Well, I played in the most casual group that had the lowest DPS possible. We were the low DPS clearers. We saw A11 do a second cycle on the G100 or whatever it was going to do. Like,
you saw the G100 at the start of the fight that no one saw?
No, like when you went to that phase, they had the towers and everything, and for some reason we were able to keep the towers still alive, and he just recycled all his mechanics again.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know he did that I didn't even know he did it again until I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, crazy. Wow, that's
the GA100 at the start. That was the big red flag, getting the early GA100. That was bad.
Oh, bad. And then we saw all the puddles on A12S at the end. Ew. It was good.
Oh, I remember. I was there.
Yeah, that's right. Were you were?
I
the
remember.
Clear.
I was there.
Dino was there for the clear for A12S and for O4S for our group, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
I remember, because I was like, yo, I don't know if I remember how to do these puddles, brother. I haven't seen these puddles in quite a while.
Man, it really sucked that was so skippable, because that was the best part of A12 was the communions.
Oh, it was easily skippable too. You didn't even have to have good DPS. You just had to have like average DPS. And,
bro, you know what the most skippable thing was? The most like embarrassingly skippable thing? The fucking slugs in turn 6. I remember you just LB'd the first set of slugs, and you said, fuck it, kill it before the next set. I'm moving on.
Yeah. Or A11 was pretty bad too. You skipped an entire phase. You skipped all of Lapis. You could skip.
Yeah, but you didn't do that in prog. I think you could do it in prog if you tried really hard. But yeah, that one.
The skip was pretty early. It was
like week 2 or 3. Yeah. It wasn't like turn 2 in Rage, which was like 10 weeks, 12 weeks.
Wasn't A11 the first one to introduce like just smashing the button really hard for some reason in the middle of the fight? They're like, hey, time action.
You didn't have to smash it. You just had to hit it once.
Yeah, I hit it once.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then people would hold, they would like press W, and they would hold it while they were in the air, and then they'd walk into the AoE when they came off the fucking thing.
Oh man,
Jesus Christ,
yeah, this is
boomer
boomer talk, 100% right now. Anyways, gear and stats. I mean, we've went over pretty. I can't think of anything else really with gear in general. I mean, we could talk about the things that how to be more creative with getting gear, all right, and how they really need to like improve some of those systems. But we hit a lot of these different things too, right?
Yeah, I mean, the core idea is that the lack of availability is serviceless. There's no reason to have it take so long, because whereas you might have wanted to keep people subbed, like, oh, I have to play or I can't get more gear. Instead, it's allow people to get gear and they're more likely to play more jobs, and thus they're more likely to engage in the content and stay longer. Because I know at the end of Shadowbringer, like Shadowbringers was a big lesson for a lot of people who sat through the months of delays and everything like that. But everyone I knew, it happened in a patch where we had gear available, and we had the tier unlocked for so long because everything was delayed super much. So everyone was just like, oh, I'll try this job, I'll try that job, I'll try this job. And that's what I did. I was like, oh, I'll do Black Mage, I'll do Ninja, I'll try Tank, I'll go Healer. I'll just, because I could gear them all reasonably in any given amount of time. So now I feel comfortable going into, ultimates on Black Mage. I wouldn't mind doing Healer. Tank I would probably refrain, but I'm doing everyone else a favor on that front.
We didn't talk about Deep Dungeon and the weapon there, right? So
that's because the weapon there has never mattered. That's
it has never, but should it? Right? I don't know. It's an avenue.
Man, isn't Deep Dungeon synced? Right? It's synced, right?
Yeah, no, it's
like
all your
synced and
gear.
everything.
Yeah, all your gear is like irrelevant.
Yeah, you're just using like the Aether Pool stuff. No, I think they just leave that the way it is because it's all synced, man. It doesn't matter. Like it's all with it's like all in its own little system.
Well, you used to be able to pull it out and then lose all your stats to pull a weapon out, right? And get something.
You probably still will be able to, but it's like that weapon is more like they're giving you an appearance, so you might as well be able to leave with it. Kind of situation.
I always thought it was just glamour. I never thought it was like stats attached to it.
And you guys don't want any like random stat stuff existing in the game.
No pink gear. Get the fucking pink gear. I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind like an alternative to materia. I mean, we talked about that before, but like if we could enchant gear instead of putting materia in it, like if it's just going to be stats anyway, the method with which we do it is kind of irrelevant. But it's I definitely don't want pink gear again.
It's like it's just so weird because Yoshi said this like before, right? Where he's like, this game isn't designed to, take all of your life. You know what I mean? Like he wants you to go play other games.
Not for the 2 weeks Top was out. He did.
But then why is the gear so bad? Like, why does it take 8 weeks to get a fucking weapon, man? Like that doesn't make sense. Like if it's just basically like they kind of contradict themselves a little bit because your one character can play all the roles, but you kind of can't play all the roles. They tell you need to take a break from the game, but then you can't take a break because you got to do all the weeks. You know what I mean?
They don't mean take like a break for months. They mean take a break during the week, right?
No,
every week
says,
you come in.
I don't know,
and then you take a break a few days every week.
He says the words, feel free to unsubscribe when there's not content you want to do and resubscribe when you do it. And a lot of people who don't have houses absolutely do that. And they feel no guilt. They get to enjoy the game exactly as they want to play. And that's great. We're not saying they shouldn't do that. We are also just saying that those aren't the only people who play the game. And the people who do play it consistently could do with an update.
So basically the changes that we talked about today literally harms no one and helps everyone. Like I can't think of a single person that it actually would harm or would inconvenience. It would just help everybody. And that's the thing. You want to try to help as many people as you can. You want to try to cover the broadest like range of audience or whatever is you can. And these changes, they should be in the game. Like they really should be in the game. Like there's no reason why there should be a loot lockout, a fucking tome cap, a fucking like any of this shit after 4 months. Because remember, they push back the content releases from like 3.5 months to like 4. So now we're waiting even longer, but all this shit is still in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Xeno, I took 16 weeks to get all my gear, and now everyone else can just get in a week. Why did I even do the raid those 16 weeks? It wasn't like it was fun or anything. I hate P6 and P7. They should have to take as long as I did, because that's how long it took me to do it. And now they're undermining my achievements.
Oh, sucks for you,
Mr. Unhappy.
It actually sucks for me because those people's mentality, that's how the game is, actually.
True. All right, well, we have a little bit of time here. We can kind of go into a few other topics too, some bonus content. There's a couple things you ranted on at the beginning, Xeno. I don't know. You're pretty upset about the FanFest tickets, I think, right?
Oh, nah, I think realistically that might be the most fair. I mean, you're never going to have a world where everybody's going to get to go. You know what I mean? So you want to try to make it as fair as possible. Now, I don't know if this is the most fair way. I do know that the fucking fiasco they had the last Fan Fest where all the tickets literally sold out in like 5 minutes. I thought that was pretty scuffed.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
So this is probably better. Like this is definitely probably better than that. I don't know if this is as good as it could be. I don't know.
How do you like make a good system to make everyone who would want to go? Like you would have to like do like a Burning Man concert kind of thing, open area, right? Like how do you like get?
You literally can't. There's hundreds like this. I think this venue, if they were to rent the whole thing, is like 120,000. They're not going to rent the whole fucking convention center. I refuse to believe that that's actually
too much that they would have to do. They've never had that many activities. I can't.
I don't even do the activities at FanFest. I just go and just.
I kind of don't either. I just walk around and talk to people, man.
Yeah,
I just really love meeting people.
The people who do the activities are the ones who are like, we're going, but we don't have a lot of people to talk to, but we want a couple things to do. But we're in a completely different scenario, right? When you're streaming and you're out there, you want to meet people, you want to talk to people, you want to hang out. There's just billions of people you want to talk to. When I went the first time in 2014, I wasn't streaming, I wasn't doing anything, and I went as just like a regular person, like with
now you're a big shot and you're too good. Is that what you're saying?
I'm a big shot who makes a shitty podcast every once in a while. Yeah, of course. But no, when I went, no one knew me at all. And we went and we did the activities and we did everything, and it was perfectly fine.
I did all the activities actually at the first one, and that's why I don't do them anymore. Because there's nothing like standing in line for 3 hours to wipe to Odin to stand in line for Odin for 3 hours again.
I did the I did that Yojimbo fight. Yeah, no, I did that Yojimbo fight at like the last one, man. And dude, they don't even do they have just a normal mouse? I can't play the game without an MMO mouse, man. I'm sitting there clicking my buttons and shit. I'm like, dude, whatever. We wiped and I never fucking went back, dude. There's no way. I can't play with that shit, man. I just
dude,
can't.
You know what? You know what happened at a Realm Reborn's one? I went to the dungeon speed running one. They were actually doing competitions where, you were put against like 4 teams of 4, and it was who could speed run the dungeon. Bro, all of the competitors except our team were just pulling each pack one at a time. And I was like, this isn't a competition. I feel kind of bad. I was like, we were done with the dungeon and leaving. And like, I was watching people just getting to the second boss. And I was like, well, now I look like an asshole because I'm just walking out because we've been done for like 5 minutes now. It was really, because
I do kind of hope they have these little competitions with like speed runs and, they'll have PvP, maybe.
Dude, the archery they have is also really. They did archery. Like they actually had people like professional like people who teach archery and like
that was actually kind of fun. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember doing that. I shot a bow. I forgot.
You know what I said they needed with? I think it was like Sly and I on State. We said they needed to get a real life version of the Slice is Right, and it's just like a giant platform that everyone tries to stand on and dodge all the like lights on the ground and shit for like the falling AoEs.
They should, but then everybody be bumping each other and pushing each other.
Yeah, just turn off collision.
Off collision, it'll work great. I mean, they did the Typhoon one, I think. But I mean,
they did. They did do the Typhoon one, yeah. You just limit the number of people who are on the thing, but just imagine somebody like dive bombing across to get to the safe spot and the fucking Slices Right.
We have another Twitch scandal thing going on where The foam pit wasn't taken care. Yeah,
No. Just don't even. Yeah, make it a bouncy castle. There you go. It could just be in a bouncy castle.
That could work too.
That won't go wrong. No way. Someone will drop kick someone in the face. No way.
Yeah.
A ball pit.
Yeah,
Like
ball
from
pit.
Dash
The ball
Con?
pit. Yeah, no. The ball pit is how you get the Twitch problem potentially. So.
Oh, but no, I think it is interesting to think about what they could do with like a bigger space. I mean, they do want to make it a big deal, right? He did say it's supposed to be a big deal because it's the 10th anniversary and everything else. But I'm just trying to imagine what they would do, and they can't overload it because it's just 2 days.
Yeah.
You have to be able to realistically do most of the stuff. So
It's also going to be fucking Vegas in July.
Mm.
Bro, do you know that in Vegas in July, it's a very realistic thing that if you were to stand still on the concrete, your fucking shoes would melt.
Dude, I'm in Arizona.
Don't
This
fucking
stuff,
do that.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
I'm prepped. I'm good to go, dude.
I'm just gonna go outside at night. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, right? I think a lot of people, you stay in the convention all throughout the day. You go out, you get your food real quick, whatever. It kind of sucks that's not in the casino because you can't just run over to like a buffet area and get some food real quick or something like that. That's one of the big downfalls. But the convention will just hold more people overall. But
I hate when people say it's a dry heat. So it's a fucking oven. You ain't see me sticking my head in that goddamn thing.
It's still pretty hot.
But yeah, then after the convention at nighttime, go around, do all your stuff, have fun, then come in an hour after it opens the next day, drunk and ready to go on to, or like hungover, ready to go in there. I'm
gonna try to stay for like 6 or 7 days this time because I want to try to catch that orchestra that's like on the Monday or something like that.
It's like the day after. There's a lot of things to do in Vegas. Like last time we went to a Perfect Circle concert afterwards, which was pretty dope. I haven't been to a concert since I was like 13, so that was an experience for me.
Yeah.
Let's go see Penn and Teller or something.
Now I'm just thinking about it. I might be able to make that concert. God damn, my life's still. So yeah, no, maybe, but I still have a baby, so I still have a couple of tethers. But we'll see. Yeah, it is weird they're doing the orchestra on Sunday night because most people are like, well, I gotta work Monday morning and they gotta fly back and everything else, so now they have to take off an extra day.
Bro, nobody has the PTO after all these fucking raids coming out. They're done. They can't stay on the extra days. They gotta choose between staying for the orchestra and the fucking next Actually, Savage will already be done by then. So it's Criterion might be done by then too, actually. So no, you'll be fine. That's it. You're good for a year. You gotta save it for 7.1.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, FanFest is going to be great. I just want to see how
really
it works
hyped
out.
for FanFest, man. I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna go even if I don't get a ticket.
This is the first one.
Honestly, what's the difference? You just stand outside the convention hall and do the exact same thing you do inside the convention hall.
Hang out with people, dude. Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk through the security or whatever, and I'm just gonna shine a line on my fucking head, and it's gonna look like that, and it's gonna blind everybody, and I'll just make my way in.
Dude, you know what? There is actually really good viability for someone who can't get a ticket to host an event that is like they have the streams up on the TVs, like take over like rent out a venue, like a bar or something like that. It just
the losers club that didn't get in.
Yeah, they could all hang out when those panels are happening, right? And make it just not too far from it. Yeah, why not? I think that would actually go pretty far. Someone wants to like make a I don't want to say the loser club, but
yeah, dude. The club for losers. Yeah.
But it would
do we have to fight a clown? As long as we don't have to fight a demon clown, then I'm okay to go to the losers club.
I mean, I'm gonna try to get a media pass. I'm gonna try. I don't know who I'm gonna ask. Because the guy I asked last time, his email doesn't work, so either he blocked me or he doesn't work there anymore. But his email doesn't work. I don't know who I'm gonna ask, but I mean, I'm even gonna ask when I get there. Hey,
I don't
have a pass.
Yeah,
me?
I don't count on that stuff, man. I think it's
hard.
Yeah, I always buy tickets every single time. I buy because I just want to make sure I'm going because I want to go. All right. I don't want to miss one. I'd feel bad if I missed one year because I haven't missed any so far. The virtual one, that kind of sucked because I was really excited for that one. But yeah, every single one except for I haven't been to all the EU ones and all the JP ones, but and all
The JP one was really nice, and it was really open floor because they had the JP one was hosted last time where they host Tokyo Game Show. They just rented only one of the rooms instead of the entire hall.
What the fuck are you putting on?
Why would you have that handy?
What?
Now I gotta go get my Tataru mask if I really want a horror show. I don't know where it is.
What the hell?
Somebody wanted to see Lil Zeems, dude.
Lil Zeems needs to fucking
Yeah,
hide himself. That shit's scary, man. I'm trying to sleep tonight.
Man, I'm a parent and everything right now, but like that'd make me but I can't say it. I can't say it.
Your kid is now the
Hey,
one trying to get you to go to sleep afterwards. It's like they're patting your back and like trying to burp you. Like it's okay. Little Zeems can't hurt you. It's all right. Just go to bed, Frosty.
I just found it at a in a Halloween store, and they're like, "Hey, this guy's got the same haircut as me. I'll buy it." Fuck it. Hell yeah.
You know, a lot of people have the same haircut as you. Funny enough. Anyways, okay. So Fan Fest. We're looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes and everything else. But the other thing was just like Omega in general and being able to kind of rest now. I mean, how do you feel like after clearing it? Like, are you just like going off and playing like a ton of other games right now?
I'm doing a reprog group. I want to get my main to clear.
That's what you're doing in like an hour from now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
less than an hour now.
Well, yeah, in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's see, I actually don't dread the idea of doing this again like I did with DSR. I think DSR made me immune to like I have no emotion anymore. I'm just dead inside. Cuz like DSR like burnt the candle of my life, and then top was like what the wax that was left at the bottom. And I'm like, all right, I'm here. The candle's lit just long enough to get it done. And then I just moving on. That's it. And I also I did it as a DPS, and again, I was kind of coasting the whole time. I didn't really feel very
DSR.
stressed.
Yeah, I love DSR. I mean, I like top, but I don't know, man. I just don't like so many conga line mechanics. I just really don't. It's like every fucking mechanic is this conga line or like wormhole. Just like, holy fuck, man. Like, dude, I get that the randomness adds to the difficulty. I get that. But every mechanic, it just got old for me, man. It just really got old. Whereas DSR, I just thought DSR was a much better fight. DSR is still my favorite fight. It's still my favorite fight in the game.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I like top more because DSR for me has peaks and valleys, and top for me was really consistent. Because like when I'm doing every dude, and also the number one thing that makes DSR way worse, and it's without a shadow of a doubt, is that fucking sound whenever you die. Every fucking time you go back.
I don't have music on, man, so I don't have music on.
Fucking sound. I can't take it. At least when I go back to the fucking first phase of the other one, it's just like, I'm just like, okay, that's fine.
No, I mean, I'll listen to music. I have no idea what you're talking about. Listen to music.
Well, I use the in-game music as like, this mechanic's happening now, kind of thing. So it's just,
you know, what's funny.
No, I just can't, man.
DSR is one of the only fights that I could probably do mostly. Like, I just don't know anything about it because I was dealing with, you know, a 3-month-old at that time, or maybe 2-month-old at that time, and I completely skipped over watching anything on it. I only know about Harchafat, right? And that's it. I just know he exists, and there's like a thing, and there's this time loop thing, but I really don't know much about the fight. So if I ever wanted to do like an ultimate blind, that would be the only one that I could get close to doing.
That's the other thing,
a good
man.
fight.
Yeah, Eyes and Hush Font is just like, it's like I'm not even there. I'm just like, my brain is just off during that entire time. It's like on for Nidhogg, and then I'm just like, I black out for like 5 minutes, and then I wake up and I'm at Death of the Heavens. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm here now. And then that's it. And then it's whatever. Oh,
And
I don't miss DSR. I don't miss DSR at all.
See, it's so weird because like you really like Top, I really like DSR. It's just weird, just different.
I don't
It's
think
like
anything's
interesting to
wrong
see
with
the different.
DSR. I just something about it just it's just I don't want to go back. Is more than anything at all. Like
Oh,
we
man,
went for,
man, I did DSR and Party Finder. Oh, it was so fun, man.
okay, here's the thing though. If I had to do one in the Party Finder, it would be DSR, not Top. Without a shadow of a doubt. It would be DSR before it would be fucking Top.
DSR is pretty fun in Party Finder. I mean, well, you know what I mean. Like if you're gonna do one in Party Finder, like DSR is not bad. Top is Top's gonna be unfucking clearable unless you use the melon.
You know what's another reason why I probably hate DSR? I did it on Bard. That's an awful experience. There's no worse job. Though? It's when the boss is always there and you're not like timing songs for downtime and shit. Because if you don't use ballad like before the boss disappears, you're pretty much fucked for the entire fight. It's just so weird. It's just such a weird job to play in a fight like that.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't do it. Sorry to the like fucking 2 bards that have done Top. I apologize to you for your choice. And have fun with that job next expansion.
Yeah, our Fizz rating switched to different. Machinist from Bard because he hated it.
Yeah.
Said it was really bad.
Yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun at all.
I'm going to see what it's like, though. I mean, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time in Party Finder with Top. But I don't. It's just going to be P1 the entire time. I think every time I do Party Finder with Top, it's just P1.
Every prog group is a P1 prog group. It's like P8S when it's like High Concept 2, but it's actually a Phase 1 Snakes party. You know, it's the same thing, pretty much.
All right. Well, I mean, is there any other topics you guys want to go over before we start wrapping up?
No, I ranted and raged, man. I'm good. I got it out, let it out.
Nice.
Mike? Yeah, I'm pretty content. No, I'm pretty content. I could go for some food after that. So yeah
I'm gonna go get some food after this too. So that works out pretty well.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
But yeah, okay. Well, we can go ahead and start wrapping up. I mean, it's been a fun show, and I appreciate you both coming on for it. I knew it was gonna be a fun show. Once, like, as soon as like Xeno's just like, "Oh man, you gotta fucking do that." I'm like, "Yeah, we got it."
Nah, man. I've been waiting for this show. I've been waiting for this show because the devs watch this shit.
I don't know, man.
They'll take one of our suggestions.
Not anymore. They don't.
Yeah, they probably done. They're probably like,
they turn that shit off.
As soon as like Xeno started talking, they're like, all right.
Nah. Yoshi told me they watched, so Yoshi told me they watched. I believe him. Just let me hold on to that dream, man. Don't take it away from me. Just let me hold on to it.
Okay. But yeah, no. All right, well, let's go over last words, last things you guys want to say, shout outs, all that great stuff here. And Xeno, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I want to start off. I'm gonna ban this comedian in the chat. He thinks he's funny. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. That's right. I'm a mod in here, idiot. Yo, watch your fucking chat next time, idiot. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to shout out to the Twitch chat because holy fuck, man, I love you guys so much. Oh my god. I just want to do a shout out, man, because you guys are so funny. And even on days that I don't stream, I'm in the chat. I'm thinking about you, and you guys are awesome. And yeah, I'm gonna do a banger react stream tomorrow. Banger.
Yeah.
So if you guys are thirsty for drama, dude, tune in because it's gonna be insane. Yeah, but anyway, man, shout out to my raid group, my EU group, man, the Cleared Top. Holy fuck, those boys are insane, and I was so grateful to be a part of that group. We did pretty well, yeah. Overall, it was a very stressful but very very good experience. And yeah, that's it. And
did you get a new chair after that?
No, so what I did was I wanted to buy a new chair, but instead I just bought wheels and replaced the wheels that I broke.
Okay. Probably
they didn't have the chair that I wanted.
Okay, that's fair. But they had the wheels that you wanted, so that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we get to Mike, your last ones, I want to say, both of you, thank you so much for the point of views for the world race and everything. It did help out a lot with the event. But every time we got Xeno on there, your chat would go crazy. And say, look, I'm on MogTalk, and they would like start saying shit. And it started donation incentives for our casters to do kissies towards chat.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
hope you feel good about that.
I love the Twitch chat so much, man. They're so funny. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's telling the truth. Is the weird
No,
thing.
I am. No,
He
I
is.
really am. I really am. From the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, all right, Happy. You will do your last bits and shout outs and all that.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Happy. I'm doing a lot of YouTube and Twitch stuff right now. I've been aloha. You've been trying to assassinate yourself all day by putting yourself where my feet are. Yeah, hold on. Now he's part of the shout out.
Okay, that was good.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's Chunker right here. Okay, yeah. So I'm doing Octopath and Theater Rhythm and Wild Hearts, and I'm doing all that, and that's been really great. I have a pretty large announcement coming soon. Not doing that here, but there's going to be a lot of. I'm going to have a time soon. I'm going to have a time. So keep an eye out for more details for something fairly large coming in the next probably week or two, as soon as I have everything settled and nailed down. So, but other than that, I also love the chat because they make those kind of things, those kind of announcements that make them more fun.
Yeah.
Or they make them possible to be fun when they're not always fun.
Yeah.
So, you don't want my kissies. So you can, yeah, they trust me. You don't. I'm from New Jersey. It's not a good idea. No, I'm doing you a favor by not doing that. Okay. Yeah. So that's fair.
And by the way, if any of you have interest in following both of these gentlemen, you can check their social media stuff that's on the screen right now, and I'll put it in the YouTube description as well, and all that wonderful stuff. But again, it's been a pleasure having both of you on here. I forget how far back we go. It's been a long time at this point, man. So many years.
I think like 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. Like we're in the 8 year
Born's 10 years old this year, so it's somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9, something like that. Yeah.
Holy shit, man. It's crazy to think. You know, I didn't think like when I started playing Final Fantasy 14, like I'd have like this would be a huge part of my life where I have long-term friends that I've made that are like a huge impact into like my life overall, man.
Same.
It's crazy. All right, let me see if I could do another shout out. I know there's a timer on it. Get that in there for Mr. Happy. There we go. Got it.
I knew you had it done too because I have my activity feed over here and I saw it popped up in there and I was like, it worked.
Yeah, it did it, man. Like you just have, was it 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something stupid?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah.
I just stream. I don't think anymore.
Well, that all being said, thank you everybody for watching the show today. It's been a blast. I do appreciate all of you. As most of you know, I have a sort of a unexpected life change coming up soon, and I'm gonna take next month to do some streaming. I'm gonna be streaming a lot, so feel free to come by and hang out with me. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna be doing besides just killing myself on top, but it's gonna be a lot of shit next month. It's gonna be huge. It's the only time that I've ever like streamed that amount too. I've always been a very, very part-time streamer. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. And with that all being said, we can go ahead and start closing out. Next week, I'm not sure the show's going to be on just yet, but we are going to likely. I have so much time, I can figure out a show pretty easily, I think now. And we have a lot of stuff that we're probably doing on channel. There is a possibility of getting into some events for Crystalline Conflict as well. We haven't done that in a while, and I think it might be about time to start getting a few of those out there. And then, of course, the World Race is going to come up for Savage, which we are already starting the legwork on that, man. It's like, what, 3 months away now? Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, like 3 months, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It should be, I think, anywhere. It depends on the cycle, but I think the first week of May is the most likely time for it, if memory serves.
I think it's when we talked about before, it was like the last week of May, but it could be.
I can check right now.
Yeah. It's tough to plan events for that stuff. But yeah, it'll be the last.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
May 30th. Yeah, most likely.
It'll be the last world race of Savage and Ultimate of this entire expansion.
Criterion, man. What about the Criterion race?
Criterion, yes, we will have stuff for that probably likely. If things go well next month and going forward, we'll have a lot of that shit. But it just depends on how things go. I mean, I might have to get back to a corporate job. I don't know. I'm taking a month. Though. But it would be really cool to really get just tons of events going and just get it going and fucking have like a staple, like a platform to be able to do that shit with. But anyways, guys, we will be seeing you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow night when I actually am going to be doing P8S again, because I'm going to try to get Rook there clear with their partner as well. It feels good to be on the other side of that, even though I'm a shitty player. I can at least do some mechanics, right? So we will. We'll be doing that tomorrow, and then maybe doing some Omega as well. Thank you all for watching. Again, be good, keep cool, stay frosty, all that stuff. Bye, guys. Wave and say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.